And boys, this is officially the last episode of the Indiana Dynasty. And today you can see we're not on NCAA, we are actually on Madden. Now you might be like, Dill, why are you on Madden? Well, what you're going to notice is I put all of our players that had potential to make the NFL into a draft class with a bunch of other randomly generated players. Like you can see Rusty Hamilton right here, QB4. And we're going to go ahead sim year by year and see how our players that were at Indiana that were superstars and helped us win 2 national championships, see how they do in the NFL. And you're going to notice right here, Rusty Hamilton, the thing for him coming out was a little bit weaker of an arm. And also the situation around Indiana, they said he was just a product of the situation. Jalen Lucas is the #1 running back on the board. And they said Rusty got carried by Jalen Lucas and also the #1 receiver on the board, Dusty Wright. Now there are multiple Indiana weapons in this draft as well. Dusty Wright, the #1 receiver, seen as a generational prospect. Same with Jalen Lucas. But if we start scrolling down, you're going to notice Darius Tidwell, also the NFL really liked his speed. And we scroll down a little bit more, we have Omar Cooper right here. The NFL sees him as a slot receiver, kind of like what he was doing at Indiana. He runs really good routes, just really doesn't have the speed that Darius Tidwell and also Dusty Wright have. And if we keep scrolling down right here, we have Jonathan Kendrick that sneaks in as a day 3 pick. Again, they really like the speed on this guy. And finally, our other receiver that was a product of the year 1 rebuild and 2, Cam Camper. Kind of like a worse version of Omar Cooper. They see him as a slot receiver, probably doesn't start. We'll be battling to make the team though. And at tight end, we have Tony Williams. Kept having monster years after his freshman year that resulted in a national title. And I do want to say a lot of these players would not be in the same draft class. Like Cam Camper would be in the one before. Tony Williams would be in the one after Rusty and Jalen Lucas and Kendrick and all these other guys. And we didn't have any offensive linemen or defensive linemen make the draft. We did have a couple outside linebackers. One with Matt Holt, who was seen just as a really reliable tackler and potential depth piece for a lot of defenses. And we also had a right outside linebacker as well that has a lot of potential as a day 3 pick, Isaiah Jones, tackle machine at Indiana. They just want to see what he can be in the NFL. Really good potential day 3 pick that maybe one day could be a starter. For CB, we have the #1 in the class, Josh Grant, that had 2 national championship wins as just a junior, went on to have great senior years, and he was the most athletic corner of the bunch. And overall, he is seen as a can't miss corner prospect. We also have Brylan Lanier as well that has really great coverage skills, just doesn't have that peak athleticism like Josh Grant does. And finally, someone that is kind of in the middle, we have Travis Bradford right here that has a little bit of athleticism, also does have some coverage skills, but not as good as either a Brylan Lanier or Josh Grant. And for the final prospect that we will be tracking their career, it's going to be Lucas Moore. Lucas Moore was just an overall really reliable safety for us. He's seen as a day 1 starter in the NFL, and he does have potential. And just like that, we are here with the NFL draft. Let's see where the Indiana guys land. First pick right here is going to go ahead and be Josh Grant, CB out of Indiana. We get the first overall pick, and he will be going to the Cardinals to hopefully revamp their secondary. Second pick, Eagles go edge rusher Max Black. Third pick, the Detroit Lions go a left guard John Duckworth. Patriots on the clock right here with pick #4. They go Alfonso McLeod out of Oregon. The Bears on the clock. Again, a lot of Indiana guys getting passed up right now. Titans on the clock. Rusty Hamilton goes 6th overall, above Dusty Wright and also Jalen Lucas. A lot of people in the NFL are going to be surprised by that. Dusty Wright and Jalen Lucas both seen as can't miss players, and they are on the board at number 8. Seen as generational prospects at their position, still neither have gone yet. A lot of defensive linemen have gone, and now we're in pick number 11. Dusty Wright goes to the Raiders to team up with Devontae Adams. That is going to be an absolutely insane wide receiver duo. Cowboys go Jalen Reynolds, and Brylan Lanier comes off the board to the Ravens, and that's going to be 4 first-round picks for Indiana. Brylan Lanier was supposed to go in the 2nd. The Ravens must have really like what they seen, kind of overdrafted him a little bit, but Brylan Lanier is going to be a great player for them. And my Miami Dolphins actually end up taking Tony Williams in the 1st round. Again, more athlete than actual tight end right now, but hopefully Mike McDaniel can go ahead, develop him, and he can be a real problem for the league. He's 6'7". He is a great receiving threat. And that's going to be it for 1st round picks. We're going to sim the rest of the draft and see where everyone else lands. Isaiah Jones, our right outside linebacker, ends up with the Bengals. Lucas Moore, our free safety, ends up a Cowboy, and so does Jonathan Kendrick. Omar Cooper gets drafted by the Eagles. Darius Tidwell went to the 49ers. That's going to be a great deep threat when you have Brandon Ayuk and also Deebo Samuel as well. That offense just got 100 times better. The Rams got Jalen Jalen Lucas and Travis Bradford as well. Back-to-back Indiana guys. We have a lot of guys all over the league. We're going to send them to the playoffs and just see what happens with all our players. Rusty Hamilton with an okay first year. 4K yards passing, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Jalen Lucas is in a terrible situation. He barely got any touches. This is very idiotic from the Rams. They should get rid of Tony Pollard. They should get rid of Cam Akers. I can't believe Jalen Lucas just did nothing for them. Jonathan Kendrick also got no targets on the Cowboys. Tony Williams had a pretty nice rookie year for a tight end. Omar Cooper got no targets on the Eagles. Darius Tidwell had 5 catches, 44 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the 49ers. Dusty Wright, okay rookie year, 46 catches, 611 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Hunter Renfrow getting more targets than him. Same with Michael Mayer. They're going to want to fix that to a 79. Jalen Lucas is an 82, but again, he's just in this crowded backfield. Jonathan Kendrick is a 74, but again, just tough to get playing time when he has 3 like insane receivers ahead of him. Tony Williams is up to a 79. Omar Cooper up to a 73. Again, just tough for him to get playing time because they also signed Michael Thomas. Darius Tidwell up to a 77. Again, though, they signed Robbie Anderson. Just a bunch of boneheaded decisions from a lot of these teams. Cam Camper is sticking around on the Jets up to a 72. Dusty Wright is an 81. It's just Jacoby Myers and Hunter Renfrow are ahead of him. Josh Grant up to an 81 for the Cardinals. Lucas Moore up to an 80, but Malik Hooker starting over him. Travis Bradford up to a 77 on the Rams. And Brylan Lanier up to an 81. We got a ton of superstars, ton of superstar X Factors. And could Omar Cooper be the first one to get a ring out of the bunch? It's going to be Chiefs Eagles. We're obviously rooting for the Eagles for Omar Cooper to get that ring. Let's see what happens. Eagles, Chiefs, and Omar Cooper in his rookie season gets a ring. Yearly award winners, we actually didn't get any. No rookie of the year for us. End of year 2, Rusty Hamilton has a pretty nice year, touchdown to interception ratio. Jalen Lucas, now second string in that backfield, has a pretty nice year. Had a better year than Tony Pollard on a yards per carry basis. Jonathan Kendrick still doing nothing for the Cowboys because they have so many receivers. Tony Williams with another nice season once again. Dusty Wright close to his first 1K yard season. I think it's time that Hunter Renfrow gets out of there. Darius Tidwell with a pretty nice season, 56 catches, 700 yards, 3 touchdowns. Brylan Lanier had 2 interceptions. Josh Grant had 2. And this time the Vikings and the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. We have no representation right there, so we're just going to submit, and the Vikings win the Super Bowl. And this time, once again, no yearly rewards for us. Year 3, Rusty arguably has his worst season yet. Rushing wise, Tony Pollard is still stealing all of Jalen Lucas's touches. It's kind of annoying. Receiving, Dusty Wright has his first year over 1K yards. They listened to my advice and they got rid of Hunter Renfrow. Jonathan Kendrick actually played a little bit for the Cowboys this year with 11 catches, 183 yards, and a touchdown. Omar Cooper is actually not on the Eagles anymore. I need to find out where he went. But Darius Tidwell with another pretty solid season for the 49ers. So it pains me to say Cam Camper and Omar Cooper are officially out the league. Omar Cooper, after winning a ring his rookie year, is just done. Tony Williams, though, for the Dolphins, again, had a pretty solid season. And with the DBs and everything, we're just going to do overall checks like every 5 years. There's really not a great way to see how they're doing besides interceptions, and they haven't been top end in that. And it's another Chiefs Super Bowl. It's Chiefs versus the Seahawks right now. We really have no dog in the fight once again. The Chiefs win it this time. And this time for awards, we have no one once again. Another season in the books, and Rusty, again, pretty okay year. Receiving, Jonathan Kendrick gets over 1K yards for the Cowboys, his first big year. Tony Williams is Mr. 700 yards for the Dolphins. And for the 49ers, Darius Tidwell with, again, a pretty solid year. Nothing spectacular. I mean, they didn't really pass the ball, it seems like a lot. And rushing, Tony Pollard is still here, taking all of Jalen Lucas's touches, but Jalen Lucas starting to get a little bit more. It is a Falcons and Chiefs Super Bowl this year, and I think the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl every single year. The Falcons blow them out, though, and this time again we get no awards. And Rusty Hamilton, kind of like a similar year from last year. Rushing, this is big. Tony Pollard is now on the Titans. Jalen Lucas didn't get over 1K yards. What a bad season from Jalen Lucas, man. Wow, man, he finally gets the reins and he does that. Receiving leaders, I forgot to check the Raiders last season, but KJ Hamler outproducing Dusty Wright. That just isn't right. That no pun intended, but that actually isn't right. And now for the Cowboys, Darius Tidwell with another 1K yard season. Tony Williams this time now gets 800 yards. It looks like Jonathan Kendrick may have moved on from the Niners. I wonder where he's at. I'll try to find him. Jonathan Kendrick went to the Jags and was their #1 receiver. Wow, it's kind of crazy that Dusty Wright is getting outproduced by them in the league. And yeah, Jonathan Kendrick with an amazing year. And overall check, Josh Grant is up to an 88 overall at 26 years old. Cowboys, Darius Tidwell is up to an 84. Tony Williams is up to an 85. Jonathan Kendrick only an 80 and he outproduced 92 Christian Kirk. Dusty Wright is up to a 95. Jalen Lucas is a 91. Brylan Lanier is an 88. Travis Bradford is an 85 now on the Commanders. And Lucas Moore is the starting free safety for the Cowboys. He's a team captain and he's an 84. I think the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl every single time. It's Packers Chiefs now. Again, we have no dog in the fight, but let's see what happens, and the Chiefs get another Super Bowl win. Into year 6, Rusty actually has his worst year yet. Rushing-wise, Jalen Lucas with a crazy good year, 1.5K yards and 12 touchdowns. Dusty Wright is now the wide receiver 1, and oh my God, 114 receptions, almost 2K yards and 20 touchdowns. Insane year from Dusty. He's putting up Indiana numbers in the NFL. Darius Tidwell had another 1K yard season. Tony Williams almost has his first 1K yard season. And after leading the Jags in receiving, Kendrick isn't here. Kendrick is just bouncing around every team, I guess. And it should be known Dusty led the league in receiving, obviously, and Jalen Lucas was right there for rushing. And to my surprise, Jonathan Kendrick is a free agent. After putting up 1K yards, no one signed him. Cam Camper is also here in free agency. And we got the Raiders and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. No matter what, Indiana is getting a ring right here. It's either going to be Dusty Wright or it's going to be Darius Tidwell. Our two best Indiana receivers. No matter what, Indiana wins though. And 37-2? What type of Super Bowl was this? Okay, fingers crossed, Darius Tidwell, Super Bowl MVP. He did not get it, but Dusty Wright actually gets our first award, one Offensive Player of the Year for the Raiders, and this was just a weird Super Bowl. 37-2, what? And this is year 7. We're probably around halfway to the end of their careers, and Rusty is just playing worse and worse. 30 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. Hello, was I the QB? Jalen Lucas with a pretty good season once again, above 1K yards, pretty good average yards per carry, and 6 touchdowns. Need to get that touchdown up though. And receiving, Dusty Wright once again has an amazing year, 1.5K yards and 18 touchdowns. Tony Williams is so close to getting over that 1K yard mark. And Darius Tidwell once again is just Mr. 1K for the Cowboys offense. Okay, this pains me to see Jalen Waddle is a Chief. We have another Cowboys Super Bowl with Darius Tidwell. We do not have anyone on the Texans, I believe. We're gonna send him this week. Cowboys, come on, get Darius Tidwell another ring, and the Cowboys are gonna do it. Darius Tidwell now has 2 rings. And for the season recap, Dak won Super Bowl MVP again, and Dusty Wright with another Offensive Player of the Year. Now, for the most part, this is where we may notice like people start to go down in overall. Rusty Hamilton with a slight bounce back year. Rushing wise, Jalen Lucas with another amazing year. Receiving, Dusty Wright got outproduced by Xavier Miles. Wow. Super surprised by that, especially given what he was doing. And now we have Darius Tidwell, again, Mr. 1K with another great season. And Tony Williams kind of with an off year. I mean, the Dolphins receivers kind of went a little bit crazy, so it makes sense. Actually, Brylan Lanier with 5 interceptions. This is year number 7. We'll do an overall check at the end of year 8. And this time the Super Bowl is going to be Texans, Cardinals, potential Josh Grant ring right here. We are rooting for the Cardinals. Let's go Cardinals. Come on. I feel like the Texans are going to win it, but come on, Cardinals. Come on, Josh Grant, and Josh Grant we trust. The Cardinals win the Super Bowl, and that's going to be a Josh Grant ring. And this year, we once again had no awards. And this is the end of year 8. Rusty Hamilton with probably his best season yet. We have Jalen Lucas with yet again over 1K yards and 10 touchdowns. Dusty Wright again got outproduced by like a random receiver, but still had a good year, 1K yards, 7 touchdowns. Darius Tidwell, Again, Mr. 1K himself. Tony Williams almost made it to where the Dolphins had 4 people over 1K yards. Okay, I don't know if this is glitch. It has to be. But there are 4 Tremaine Gardeners right here. I mean, if the Browns got the greatest draft ever and got 4 of them with 6 interceptions, they are the best team ever. But Josh Grant this year had 4 interceptions. That would be tied 3rd for the NFL. And Brylan Lanier also tied with that. Overall check for year number 8, Rusty Hamilton is playing up to a 91. Jalen Lucas is a 99. Dusty Wright is also a 99. Darius Tidwell is an 84, but he plays like better than Dudley, so I would say he's high rated. Tony Williams is an 86. Travis Bradford is up to an 86, 30 years old. Josh Grant is playing down to an 86, and Brylan Lanier is playing down, and he is an 84. And you can see the boys are starting to get older and older. We probably got like 4 or 5 more seasons left with them. And this time we have a Giants-Jag Super Bowl. We have no players on either, so it really doesn't matter. And the Jags end up winning the Super Bowl, and we didn't have anyone for awards once again. Year 9 and more of the same for Rusty. Pretty solid year. Jalen Lucas had a really nice year. 18 touchdowns is insane. Dusty Wright back to leading the Raiders with receiving yards and touchdowns. Tony Williams with 700 yards on the season, 5 touchdowns. And Darius Tidwell actually outproduced CeeDee Lamb this year. The Cowboys had 3 receivers going over 1K though. Okay, I have no idea what's going on, but Tremaine Gardner, there's more of them now. 30 interceptions. This has to be a joke, right? This has to be a joke. There's actually no way this guy got 30 interceptions. There's no way, right? Like, he got 30 interceptions. What? This is the greatest player of all time. Tremaine Gardner got 30 interceptions, and he also got 648 tackles. What is happening? Okay, I know that has nothing to do with Indiana. I was just perplexed, you know? And for league leaders, Brylan Lanier with 5 interceptions. Again, a really nice year when you don't compare it to the 30. Josh Grant is now on the Packers, and he had 4 interceptions. This officially makes no sense because Tremaine Gardner is on the Bengals. So, like, how did he get his stats on the Commanders when he's on the Bengals? Is there 2 people with that same name? There's another one on the Chiefs. My sim is completely officially broken. There are actually like 6 Tremaine Gardners, and I don't know what to do. Now, this is awesome though. Travis Bradford is also on the Packers. So Josh Grant and Travis Bradford teaming up. We got a Bengals-Lions Super Bowl right here. Again, we don't have any dog in the fight. Whoever wins, wins. I'm kind of rooting for the Lions. Lions, can they win one? They don't. The Bengals do. For yearly awards, we get no one because Tremaine Gardner is actually a god. He won MVP with the Steelers and Defensive Player of the Year with the Falcons. One may ask how we did that. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with the sim, but we only got like 5 years left. I'm not too stressed. End of year 10, Rusty Hamilton with another great season. Jalen Lucas seems like he's starting on the like downward spiral of his career, but 1K yards, 8 touchdowns. Dusty Wright got outproduced by AJ Richter, but he still had a great year with 1K yards and 15 touchdowns. Tony Williams is so close to getting 1K. He just can't get it done, 5 yards away. And okay, we have a little bit of movement right here. Darius Tidwell no longer on the Cowboys. We got to go find him. And after being Mr. 1K himself, Darius Tidwell no longer with the team, 32 years old and in free agency. Now we have a 49ers Patriots Super Bowl. We don't have any dog in the fight. Once again, I'm rooting for the 49ers because who wants the Patriots to win? You know what I'm saying? 49ers do end up taking the win. Brock Purdy won MVP. I mean, just a career year from him. I don't know what happened to Jermaine Gardner or whatever, but I guess he's gone. At the end of year number 11, Rusty has yet again another great year. Jalen Lucas again, still at that 1K yard mark, but he's starting to fall off a little bit. Dusty, wow. Dusty Wright in his age 31 season, 137 catches, 2,000 yards, and 26 touchdowns. Insane year from Dusty. Wow. Kendrick and Tidwell are gone. The only other person we have to look out for is Tony Williams. But he's no longer on the Dolphins. Let's see if we can find him or if he's also in free agency. And Tony Williams also now in free agency. Just no one wants him, even though he is still 90 speed at age 35. Him, like everyone else, now just a free agent. No one's going to sign him. And also Travis Bradford's now a free agent. So we're left with Brylan Lanier, Josh Grant, Dusty Wright, Jalen Lucas, Rusty Hamilton. Let's check Lucas Moore as well. Lucas Moore is also just completely gone, retired. Josh Grant is on the Bills, but he is seriously regressing. 33 years of age and a 79 overall. And Josh Grant is actually the only one left in the league. Brylan Lanier is also gone. And it's the Cowboys and the Jags in the Super Bowl again. We don't really care. We don't have anyone for the teams, and the Cowboys do win. And you know what? I kind of want them to lose because they got rid of Darius Tidwell. Now we need to talk about Hall of Fame though. I really think maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 people make it. I think Dusty Wright is a lock for Hall of Fame, especially after that 2K yard season. I think Jalen Lucas is very strong, maybe. Didn't really get off to a hot start during his first 3 years, but started dropping consistent 1K yards. And the third, I think, would be Josh Grant or Brylan Lanier. I think either or of those could possibly make it. And at the end of year 12, Rusty Hamilton with another pretty good season. Jalen Lucas is no longer with the Rams, but Dusty Wright again with an amazing season, 1.4K yards, 12 touchdowns. And I guess this is the curse of the running back, because it looks like Jalen Lucas is also no longer here. Let's check free agency. And Jalen Lucas, he either retired or he's a backup somewhere. So I checked every roster and free agency. I think Jalen Lucas just up and retired. And to me, it looks like Dusty Wright is going to be a lock for the Hall of Fame. Quarterback wise though, Rusty seems to be in the Hall of Very Good. And I wasn't able to check Jalen Lucas before he retired, but let me know down below in the comments. Do you think Jalen Lucas is a Hall of Famer based on what he did? Again, I'm leaning more towards Rusty where he's Hall of Very Good. And I think our only Hall of Famer, potential Rusty Hamilton Super Bowl right here versus the Panthers. His first ever appearance. The Titans need to win this. The Titans win. Rusty Hamilton wins a Super Bowl. So now it's a little bit tough, you know. Is Rusty Hamilton a Hall of Famer? Now, the only people we got to look for are Rusty and also Dusty. The Dream Connection. Rusty with another pretty solid year right here. Now let's go to the Raiders. And Dusty Wright did it again. In his age 32 season, 2K yards and 18 touchdowns. We're approaching GOAT territory for Dusty Wright. We have a Broncos-Falcons Super Bowl that we don't care about, but let's see what happens. Broncos-Falcons, who's going to win? It's going to be the Broncos. And Dusty Wright gets another Offensive Player of the Year, but besides that, we don't win any awards. And Rusty Hamilton is officially gone, or at least he's not a Titan. We'll check. Let's see if Dusty is also gone. Dusty is also gone. So it might be the end right here. I'll check around the league, see if they're in. Rusty Hamilton is now with the Falcons. 39 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. And Dusty Wright, after dropping 2K yards, that was his last season. So we are now just left with the man himself, Rusty Hamilton. And this will likely be his last year. So Falcons Super Bowl, fingers crossed. We want the Falcons in the Super Bowl. And it's going to be Chiefs Panthers. We don't care. We're going to sim the next year, see if Rusty stays. And again, nothing for yearly awards. And Rusty Hamilton is now with the Texans in his age 36 season. This is the last one, man. Rusty, you gotta give it up, okay? You won 1 Super Bowl. Stay healthy. Spend some time with the kids, man. It's not worth it. And Rusty Hamilton isn't even starting. So we did this all for nothing. So yeah, y'all, that's going to be it for the Indiana Dynasty final episode, them going to the NFL. I hope y'all did enjoy the series, man. Again, I greatly appreciate y'all showing a lot of love and support. And I appreciate y'all looking forward to the episodes every single week. We will be starting up a lot of Dynasty content once again when the new NCAA game does come out. And if not, expect a lot more videos around like the January timeframe. Right now, as I'm dropping this, I'm going to be playing a lot of Madden 24, which if you guys did enjoy this content, you'll enjoy my Madden videos as well. And if you want to see those, check the links in the description. Hit those with subs as well. Also, I stream over on Twitch a lot as well. So if you want to see me live, talk to me live, maybe you want to talk about the upcoming college football season, check the links in the description, hit that Twitch with a follow. But other than that though, y'all, it has been your boy Dill, and I'm out. Peace, y'all.